Welcome to WTNB Sports. I'm your host, Brian Russell, alongside Chris Woods and Danny Bradley as usual. And you'll notice we have a very special guest here tonight. To my left, head women's basketball coach at Bradley Central, Jason Reuter. Jason, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, district champions this year again.
Right? Well, yes, that's a title that never gets old. Well, I've been coaching the Bears for 5 years, and we've been fortunate to win it all 5 years. And I've had a plethora of talented players, and they make me look good on the sideline. So, this is kind of our March Madness right now, so to speak, for high school girls basketball, and our girls have laid the groundwork and put us in first, which gives us advantage going into the region tournament.
Right. So what we thought we'd do for the next hour is, we've got Jason here, and he'll stay with us as long as he can. We just figured we'd ask him some questions, talk basketball, and get his thoughts on that and various other things. So, Danny, you want to start us off?
So until we make him mad.
Until we make him mad and he leaves, or he decides that we really have no clue what we're talking about.
If he storms off and throws his mic down, you'll know it's a good sign we hit a nerve.
Right.
One of your favorite coaches from Indiana, right?
Favorite coaches?
So, no, when we talked about you being here, what are you doing here? I mean, last year you lost to Twin Towers. You lost all your scoring. You lost all your. Everyone said Bradley was going to be down. That this was going to be, Walker Valley or Cleveland's year. And coach, is it the coaching? Is it the program? Is it the? And the one thing I do say this, and I mean this sincerely. There's a lot of Bearettes that have come through that program for years and years. That when you go to the games, you still see them there in the stands.
Certainly, yeah. This is my 18th year at Bradley High School, but my 5th year as the girls' head coach, and always had a great appreciation for the girls' program. And but watched it work. I don't know there's any two sports that have to work closer than boys and girls basketball. Football really doesn't have a counterpart. Softball and baseball are the similar sports, but we're sharing the same facility, same court, playing on the same nights 80% of the time. So I've always had a deep respect for the Bearette program, and I'm kind of a little bit of a history buff when it comes to sports, especially where I'm at. So I knew a lot about the Bearette program before I took over. But since taking over the helm, when I meet an ex-Bearette, whether it's at Walmart or at Cook's Food Store or even at our game, they don't ever say, Danny, they don't say, I was an ex-Bearette. They say, I am a Bearette. So it's a rich tradition, plethora of talent that's came through there. I mean, we could, I'm lucky to be coaching at a place where girls basketball is very relevant, and there's a lot of pride, and, with winning championships, everybody likes to be part of a winner, and we've had a lot of tradition there at Bradley, and I'm lucky to be the guy running the show right now.
And like Danny said, this year wasn't. Everybody kind of wrote you guys off because you did lose Rebecca and you lost Brooke. But as a coach, did you kind of sit back and chuckle knowing what you had in the stable? And did you expect this kind of year?
Well, I didn't chuckle. Now when we lost the Twin Towers, so to speak, I didn't know. A lot of my close friends even said, a lot of people thought you might get out after Rebecca left. She's going off to college. This is a balancing act between me and her mother, trying to, I've got a daughter in middle school, 7th grader, Amelia, goes to Ocoee Middle. My wife will tell you that she's a widow from November to March. And but luckily, all the games I missed with my daughter, I got to get that special opportunity to coach her in high school, and we could talk about that forever, but let's get back to the point you were saying about this year's team. I knew with the addition of Ryan Howard this summer, when they decided to move to Bradley County, I knew that we would be better immediately. But did I know that we were going to win the district? No. I knew that was our goal, and that'll always be our goal. So you're talking about a very competitive rivalry here with Walker Valley and Cleveland. We lost one game this year in the district to Cleveland. I think that kind of ignited our fire a little bit. And I'm not a very good self-promoter. I'm not going to take credit. I do take this very seriously. I don't golf. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I try to be the best teacher I can, the best father, the best husband, and the best girls basketball coach. So we put a lot of time into it, and so our girls do too. So I think what you see is a product of good players that I'm not going to say overachieved. Maybe we're flying under the radar a little bit. We got a Hallie Hughes, a E.K. Brown, Julia Gaither, a Kaylee McCree. Those are our 5 starters. Katie Brown comes off the bench. Sydney Morgan comes off the bench. So what we have here is a case where we had to change our style of play. You know, we're not a high-low power team this year, but we've got young guards. You know, we have no seniors. And to put it in perspective, no seniors to go out and win the regular season. We're sitting here at 21-5, and we've been battle tested. We didn't, you know, we went off to Murfreesboro and played some very good teams at Christmas. I don't usually sit down and predict my record. I just want us to be the best we can be. I had no idea we'd be 21-5 or 15-11. I just knew that I had enough talent if we could stay together, knock on wood, not have major injuries. You know, we should have had one starter, another starter back, Chelsea Summers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her story. She tore her ACL in April for the 3rd time. So this is a girl that would have been our starting point guard, but with that injury, that, you know, that rocked our world a little bit. But Ryan Howard, you know, the good Lord blessed us with her family moving into Bradley County, and I'm excited, you know, what this young bunch has done, and we're sitting right here where we need to be. I think 1st place, going in the region tournament. Nobody's handed it to us. You're right. Everybody thought this would be the year to get us, if they were going to get us.
I mean, that would, you know, it would make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you lost so much from last year's team. Of course, no one saw Ryan coming in, and that you made a good point the other night in the finals against Walker Valley. You'd expect, you know, EK and the rest of them to, you know, against the Walker Valley, you know, the little bit of a you know, clash with each other, but someone coming from East Hamilton, you know, coming into the program for the first time, what was it? 5 steps off the mid-court after the tip, and she drains a 3-pointer that would have been an NBA 3-pointer, and then she was fired up from beginning to end in that game the other night against Walker Valley.
Yeah, she certainly was. She's a very cool customer. You know, the girl's 14 years old. We're talking about a 14-year-old kid.
Played as an 8th grader last year in varsity,
Well,
right down in East Hamilton.
Yeah,
Certainly did, and you know, I mean, she dominated the district tournament. Of course, we because of our buys, we only played 2 games, where some teams had to play more. Walker Valley had a bye also, but yeah, I mean, this girl came in and had 35 in the semifinals, 30 in the finals. I looked at the referee one time when she drained a 3, and I said, "That's coaching right there, buddy." He kind of winked at me, but you know, good coaches are surrounded by good players, and you know, there's teams in the state that are favored over us, obviously, but I'm as proud. I think this bunch has accomplished as much with the amount of youth, you know, the youth we have. No seniors. I'll say it again. So next year, you guys will be, you know, predicting us to win, and so the monkey doesn't get off your back.
Well, I'll warn you, Danny likes to predict teams to go undefeated. So next year, he's going to be saying you're going to go undefeated, so just watch it.
No, he's good. He's good at that.
Yeah.
So, you know, like his teams always do well.
Ottawa, Ray County.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask was the kind of player that Ryan Howard is coming into a program now. It was a little different than just an incoming freshman, or you know, because she didn't play in this area. Was it different for the team? A little bit different for the team, knowing that she was, you know, such a good player, but also new to all the other her teammates.
Yes, I think, you know, no one on our team had any type of relationship with Ryan Howard at all. You know, never.
I mean, no summer ball or a.
Well, no, she played with us this summer.
Okay.
They moved to Bradley County, and.
Well, but I mean, before she started though.
No,
summer,
yeah, I mean,
there was
no,
none whatsoever. Right?
No. I don't know that they've ever said hello to her before. You know, we played them last year, home and away. Obviously, they knew her from that aspect. But yeah, I think she came in coming into a new school, not knowing anybody. The team took her in. She's got a great personality. You know, your people skills will take you further in life maybe than anything else. And Ryan is very likable. And, you know, this is a girl that I saw she was a special player this summer. But basketball is such a chemistry-oriented sport. You know, if I don't like you and you don't like me, and if we can't step on that floor, and I've had players that didn't hang out together, but when they step on that floor, they're all fighting for the same common goal. Ryan has developed some friendships that have accelerated. You know, I got a bunch of young puppies here that had to grow up together, and you know, I think they, instead of going, wait a minute, here comes a hot shot freshman, they're like, hey, we need you. So I think the starters, you know, I'm only going to start 5 girls, you know, so I'm not going to say that every kid in our program was doing backflips, because she, you know, she came in and she started every game for us. But she did not come in and have any type of persona about her, like, you know, hey, I've arrived here or whatever. First of all, she's 14. It's hard, you know, I didn't get arrogant until I at least got 30, you know, let alone 14. So this is a girl that I've had to demand, listen, you're shooting 10 times a game. I need you to shoot 15, 18, 20. I mean, you know, who's going to stop you? You don't know how good you are. So she's also my point guard. So originally, I didn't know that she would be our point guard, but after about 10 days of summer ball, it was clear to see she was our best passer and best ball handler. So she's 5'11" and a half, pushing, you know, they'd list her 6 foot, and playing the point, you know. So I think that will help her in the long run. You know, when college coaches look at her and they say, wow, she's 6 foot, let's hope she grows a couple more. Just imagine if she's 6'2".
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm hoping to, you know, we put her in a lot of different positions. Just because she's our point guard doesn't mean we don't post her up, you know.
Sure.
But matter of fact, we hope that the other team will pit their point guard on her.
Yeah.
Because then we got a few calls that I'm not going to give away on the show here, but we immediately, if we get a disadvantage with Ryan, we're going to put her on the block and we're going to get the ball to her. So,
And see, and that is coaching, though.
well,
I mean, and yeah, you're going to use her height, but you know, use your advantage. And
well,
that's the.
Stevie Wonder could see that.
I tell you what, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back on WTNB Sports, we'll have more with head basketball coach at Bradley Central, Jason Reuter.
I'm Dr. Ricky Hutchison with Tennessee Valley Bone and Joint. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or 6. We run a free sports medicine clinic on Saturdays. We want people to know that Tennessee Valley Bone and Joint is here for them because you're part of our family.
Isbo Floral Gallery, located at 859 Keith Street in Cleveland, is a full-service florist offering custom fresh and silk floral arrangements. Perfect for home decor, weddings, and events, Isbo Floral Gallery can customize your order to ensure that you'll be satisfied with not only the quality of our arrangements, but the timeliness of our service. Isbo Floral Gallery, the only florist you'll ever need.
The Cleveland Housing Authority's mission is to provide affordable, safe, and sanitary housing opportunities to low-end and moderate-income families. Flexible monthly rental options are available, so contact us today to see if you qualify for premier housing from the Cleveland Housing Authority. Visit www.clevelandhousingauthority.com or call us 423-479-9659.
Glass Act, Cleveland's professional window tinting service. Specializes in window tinting for autos, residential, and even commercial properties. In business since 1994, Glass Act carries with it a lifetime warranty on all products and services. Did you know that window tinting helps fight heat and glare, increases privacy and safety for your personal property, and reduces harmful UV rays by 99.8%? Not sure if you need window tinting? Stop by today for a free estimate and let the pros at Glass Act show you what they can do for you. Open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 and Saturday by appointment only. Glass Act, Cleveland's professional window tinting service.
We do one thing and we do it right. Glass Act Window Tinting, 478-3005.
Live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to WTNB Sports. Brian Russell alongside Chris Woods, Danny Bradley, and Jason Reuter, head basketball coach for the Bradley Central Bearettes. And Jason, as we were talking, we wanted to get into kind of the region. So if you will, kind of run down for our viewers what the schedule is like this week so we know where to expect and so we can get some fans out and support you guys.
Certainly, yeah. It's a very unprecedented year in my 22 years of coaching. I don't know that this has ever happened. You know, the entire state got hammered. We were one of the few places that didn't, but even though we did miss school because of some predictions of bad weather, and we went one day this week, but the state has came in and tried to make it even across the board. So they said all first round girls region games will be at the higher seed tomorrow night, which is Monday.
Okay.
So all the ones and twos. So there's 16 districts across the state. 2 districts make a region, so you got 8 regions across the state.
All right.
Our district, as you guys well know, our district, Bradley, Cleveland, Walker Valley, Saudi, Ottawa, McMinn County, East Hamilton. Our other district is Cookeville, Crossville, Warren County, White County, Ray County. I may have left somebody out, but there's 6 teams up there. We have 7. So those 2 make one region. Okay, there's 8 of those. They start up in Bristol, in that area. Johnson City is region 1. On down a little further is region 2. Knoxville area is region 3. We're 4.
Okay.
Start heading west. The Murfreesboro area is region 5. And you got the picture on across the state.
Yeah.
So all girls higher seeds play at home tomorrow. So that puts Bradley at home against the other district's number 4, which is Warren County.
All right.
Walker Valley will play at home tomorrow because they finished number 2. And they will play the other district's number 3, which is Cookeville.
Okay.
So Cleveland will finish 3rd in our district, so they will go to the other district's number 2, which is White County. And then Saudi finished 4th, and they will go to the district champ over there, which is Cumberland County.
Okay.
And that's the scenario. It's the same across the state. And then the boys play at home on Tuesday, first round. Same scenario, higher seeds at home. Our boys finished 1, so they will be at home, I think, against Cumberland County.
All right.
7 o'clock, these are mandated, whatever time zone you're in, it's 7 o'clock. So we have 2 time zones in Tennessee. You know, everybody over here at 7, and Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee, it would be 7 o'clock Central Time. So
Okay.
we need a big crowd tomorrow night. Could possibly play at home again. Let me finish the rest of the region out. Wednesday will be boys and girls. You're down to 4 teams each. They're all played at Ottawa on Wednesday. I can go ahead and tell you the first game will be 4 o'clock.
Okay.
4 o'clock game, 5:30 game, 7 o'clock game, and an 8:30 game. Now, we've got to win tomorrow night to get to Wednesday.
Right.
If anybody loses Monday, they're done. Same thing the boys. If they lose Tuesday, they're done. If you lose Wednesday, you're done. Okay, and the finals for boys and girls, only be 2 games played, obviously. It's finals. It's Thursday. 6, and 7:30 at Ooltewah.
Okay.
Now, unlike most years, our district finals, all they did was squeeze it into a tighter window. We'd have normally played this game that we're playing tomorrow, we would have played Saturday.
Okay.
And the boys, the game they're playing on Tuesday, they would have played on Monday. And after that, you would just vice versa. Girls would have been next day would have been boys. So we play 3 games in 4 days to win this region. Boys had to play 3 games, if you followed me, 3 games in 3 days.
Right.
Tuesday,
Right.
Wednesday, Thursday. So this definitely favors the deeper, more
Right.
talented teams, you know.
Right.
And I don't care to say this, anybody who knows my team very well, we're not very deep. And that's no disrespect to the girls that aren't playing a lot, it's just we're not very deep. We have no seniors, and you know, I'm playing some girls, we're starting 1 junior, 3 sophomores, and a freshman. So if I would love to have more depth, but right now we don't. So this format would benefit a team that's playing, you know, 9, 10 girls every night.
Right.
And the boys even have a rougher road. But it's fair for everyone. That's all you can say. Everybody's in the same boat.
Right.
But after that region finals on Thursday, now, so you guys understand after that's called a sub-state.
Right.
If you get to the finals of your region, win or lose, you're going to play in a sub-state. There'll only be 8, there's 8 regions, and you'll have a winner of every region playing at home against a runner-up of another region. And you've got to win that game to get to the glass house, as we call it, MTSU, Murfreesboro.
Now, what region will you guys go up against?
We're paired up every year, and there's been some debate over the years, you know, why don't we rotate these, you know? Just do the math. 1 goes against 2. 3, we're region 3.
Right.
We go against 4. I make no bones about it. That's been the toughest region in the state for 20 years.
Yeah.
It used to be, one of their districts is Shelbyville, Columbia, Lincoln County, Lawrence County, you know, Tullahoma. I'm leaving somebody out, I'm sure. And the other side of that region is now, without doubt, the toughest district in the state. It's Blackman, Riverdale, Oakland, Smyrna, Laverne, there's Siegel, Stewart's Creek. That's a new school, a couple years old. That, you know the population is booming up there. So they have 7 AAA teams in 1 county, in Rutherford County. Put that in perspective, we have 3. They've got 7.
Well, that's one of the questions that's come up before with this. With you talking about the boom, the last 8 years, Bradley County has expanded considerably, and I'm talking the population, not, you know.
Certainly.
But
yeah.
Could Bradley County support another high school?
Not at this time. I don't know. I don't think so. When I'm saying, you know, we're growing at a pretty good rate compared to, I would think, most of the state. I would think we'd be above average. But Murfreesboro is growing, at, you know, whatever rate we're growing, times that by 3. I mean, they're just, I think they're right at, you know, a bedroom from Nashville. Nashville's, you know, exploding. So, no, we could not handle another. You know, if we built another high school, it would, right now, it would probably knock, for example, say the county built another high school. That would be 3 schools. I don't think, there's no way we would field 3 AAA. You know, we could have another school, but somebody would probably be double A.
Drop down to
Yeah,
double
yeah.
A. One of the,
I think the cutoff's right around 1,000 is the smallest, you know, 1,050 is the smallest AAA teams in the state. You know, Bradley, we're sitting at 1,750. Walker Valley's sitting at about 1,650. I think Cleveland High has, don't quote me on, somebody will probably say I'm wrong. Around. Cleveland High's got 1,200, I think, 13, I don't know. So, you know, I just, you will see another high school in your lifetime, but I just don't think it'll be, you know, I don't think we'll have another high school in the next 5 or 6 years anyhow.
Well, I don't know if you've seen our show before, but, you know, on some of your statistics, you know from watching that we don't care to be wrong sometimes.
Okay,
Well, you're probably more accurate than what we are, is what he's trying to say.
There's the occasional thing we throw out, or Brian will throw out, and Danny and I will look at each other like, so don't fact check us on that one.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's always, you know, fun to talk about things like that, and what, you know, obviously, because that was going to be my question a little bit later with Bradley, with the move to, what is it, the Super 32?
Only in football.
In the football.
Yes.
will that have any bearing in basketball? Like possibly you say, okay, well, we're playing Maryville. They have a nice place. Let's do a home and home with Maryville. Let's do a home and home with Dobbins. Is that something that you've entertained?
Really haven't thought that far ahead. The football's the only sport that's going to a Super 32. It's the 32 largest schools in the state. Don't ask me why. There's 6 classes in football. Okay, there's 3 in basketball, 3 in baseball, 3 in volleyball. We have 6 in football. I'm sure it's a financial reason for the TSSAA. Play more playoff games. I mean, that's cut it. Everything's about money. So we're one of the few. I've got friends. I grew up in Kentucky, and I've got friends that coach in Georgia, Alabama. I know a few coaches in North Carolina. We're the only state that I know of that our sports are not equal across the board. In Georgia, they have 6 classes.
Yeah.
But it's 6 in basketball, 6 in baseball, 6 in.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor. I think we've got enough classes here.
Yeah.
Kentucky is the last state that only has 1 class in basketball, and they have 4 and everything else. I think it's a nostalgia thing. Kentucky basketball. We've all probably seen the movie Hoosiers. The small town.
Oh yeah. I'm
You're
from
from Indiana? Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about that on the show a few times too.
Yeah.
Is the
Indiana gave in, and
yeah, we did. We gave in. I think 2 years after I graduated high school. But these guys will agree that I tend to go on some rants against the TSSAA sometimes because they make it so complicated for the average person to understand. Even when we started the show and we're talking about the football playoffs, and my math skills are pretty good, but Danny and I were sitting out there trying to figure out who could make the playoffs, and it wasn't based on how many games you won necessarily. It was, hey, if you played 7 really good teams, you get 2 points apiece. Stuff like that.
Students you have divided by what the temperature of the day is.
Yeah. And don't worry, we're not going to ask you to explain the football playoffs because I don't think anybody in the state of Tennessee can explain that.
We can now.
But I mean, that's an excellent point. Pennsylvania has 4 classes. Most states only have the same number of classes, but Tennessee is a little different in that. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and take another quick break on WTNB Sports, and we come back more with head coach Jason Reuter.
Have you heard about the new WTNB deals around town? No? Well, then let me tell you all about it. Deals Around Town airs right here on WTNB Monday evenings at 7 p.m. I watch it because it features great local restaurants from right here in our area. And better yet, I can get 25, 50, even 75% off on these places when I just call in and buy a gift certificate. That's right, I just call in during the show and pick from dozens of deals. Rumor has it that WTNB Deals Around Town is growing and growing, so much so that they may be adding another night of savings. I've even heard that they will soon add even more places, and not just restaurants. We're talking kids fun, massages, who knows what will turn up. Remember, it's Monday evenings at 7 p.m. only on WTNB.
Are you like millions of Americans who are struggling to pay your bills? Do you have crippling debt? Are your wages being garnished? Are your bank accounts being levied? You need a solution. You need Pollo Loco. Get the best Pollo Loco in town at Tres Hermanos. Pollo Loco, the real solution.
My name is Preston West, owner of Keystone Solutions. We specialize in helping small businesses with their IT needs, whether it's hardware or software or computer issues, servers, networks, kind of anything that's under the IT umbrella is what we take care of. We want to be it, if you will. When people are looking for IT help, we want to be the person that you call and the person that you think of first.
Cameron Company Medical Equipment, conveniently located at 175 Sequoia Road in Cleveland, offers a large array of durable medical equipment from power wheelchairs and scooters to walk-in tubs and hospital beds. Cameron Company Medical Center also offers home and portable oxygen systems, diabetic testing supplies, manual wheelchairs, stair and wheelchair lifts, as well as home wheelchair ramps. We also have state-of-the-art portable ramps and carriers for all of your wheelchair needs. We also offer service and repairs for our products and most of your existing equipment if needed. Our friendly and professional staff can take care of any of your medical billing needs. Cameron Company Medical Equipment has become a leader in our industry with a reputation to give the best of everything that we offer. For questions and information, please give us a call at 423-614-5962. Cameron Company Medical Equipment, Sales, Service, and Repair. We make medical equipment affordable.
Are you like millions of Americans who are struggling to pay your bills? Do you have crippling debt? Are your wages being garnished? Are your bank accounts being levied? You need a solution. You need Pollo Loco. Get the best Pollo Loco in town at Tres Hermanos. Pollo Loco, the real solution.
Welcome back to WTNB Sports. Brian Russell alongside Chris Woods and Danny Bradley and Jason Reuter. Real quick, we want to thank our sponsors, LED Gear, Ed Jacobs and Associates, and Logan Thompson. Thank you to them. So more with Jason. And Chris, you had something before we went to break that you wanted to ask Coach?
Yeah, we were just briefly talking during the break, and we were talking about some of the differences in the tournaments between the state tournaments. We were talking about Kentucky. Of course, I'm from Indiana originally. We were saying what's a little different in Tennessee, and it's not just in basketball, but I think it's also, we discussed it in wrestling for the team tournament too, is that once you get to the regional, like you were saying, once you're in the final, the top two teams, right, that game is really just for seeding in the next phase of the tournament. You both are moving on no matter what the outcome of the game is, right?
You're correct, and I know we're not in the majority. We're in the minority of states across the nation.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they do in Texas or California, but we are in a very rare situation when you get to the region finals. You're right. If you get there, you're not going to end your season that night, no matter what.
Right.
But I can tell you, now I'm a little biased because I've told you the last 20 years, the top region in the state they've not won it every year, but we go back in the history books in the last 20 years. I'm going to suggest, first of all, Shelbyville won 10 state championships. Blackman won it last year. Riverdale's won 3 since 2000. So we're talking about in AAA girls basketball, in the last 20 years, I would say 14 state championships have come out of one of the 8 regions.
Wow.
I mean, how dominant is that?
Mm-hmm. And
So,
probably the finalists, and the rest of them just didn't win it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, you say, well, you get to your region finals. And I've never lost the region finals yet, okay? This is my 5th year. I've won it every year. And we've had that, the next round is called a sub-state. And what it allows, let's say you're the number 2 team in the state and your region opponent is number 1. Mm-hmm. Or you may not be number 2, you may be number 4, number 3, whatever. It'll let you go on the road. Now you got to come to my gym if I'm region champ.
Yeah.
In my house with 2,500 people in here. And you've got to prove to the world that you are better than me in my gym for a showdown to go to the state tournament, which is the final 8. So, I didn't like it at the beginning, and I still don't know that I agree with it. But if you really want to get the best 8 teams to the state tournament, this is probably the best route to go. But like you said, being from Indiana and Kentucky, if you've lost that region finals, you're done.
Right.
But this year, if you come runner-up in my region, and there's some fine teams left in my region, you're going to probably go to Blackman High School, which has 5 Division I basketball players starting for them. They ended last year as it's all mythical, out of 3 major polls, USA Today, Sports Illustrated, USA Today, they were finished #1 in the nation in 2 of those 3. They lost 1 player who averaged 5 points a game. So if you come up runner-up in our district, I mean our region, yes, you get another shot, but I mean, I don't want to compare it to a man waiting on death row, but I mean, you're going to one of the top.
So you're taking that pea shooter with you,
yeah, I mean,
you're not saying you're going to see your starters in the final.
No. I mean, we beat Cumberland last year in overtime at Cookeville, you know, and this, you know, one year they get the region, and then this year we get the region. So this is how it works, and it's why it's a doodle-wah. Next year, believe it or not, I think it's back at Cookeville. Don't ask me how that happened, but you know, you put your names in a hat and you draw them out. You know, we know where our districts and regions are going to be for the next few years.
I was going to say, you guys just rotate them.
So and you know, instead of having a central location, we give everybody, you know, so all 7. You're going to have the district once every 7 years.
Right.
If it's your district's turn to have the region, you understand? We get it one year, the other district gets the region.
Right.
If it's just luck of draw. If you get the district on the year it's your team's turn to have the region, you host the district and the region.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? So the only rule we have is when that 7-year cycle ends, we put the names back in a hat, and whoever had it the last year cannot be the first one out.
Okay.
So you're, so last year, the district for them was at Cookeville, and the region tournament was at Cookeville. So this year their district was at Cumberland County, which they didn't even finish. You guys realize that? They canceled they got to the very end, and they just, because of inclement weather, they just said, hey, I've heard that 50% of Cumberland County's without electricity right now because of falling trees and limbs. And so I even asked my AD, how are we going back to Cookeville again? Well, remember, this year's district tournament was at Cumberland County up there. So when they redraw them, and the one team you take out is Cumberland County, Cookeville's in there. So that's a 2.5-hour drive from here to Cookeville, and that's where we had to go up there 3 nights. No, I'm sorry, we went 2 nights last year, and that's play, day off, go back and play. So I made a decision.
Drive too.
We just went up the night before and spent the night.
I was going to say, could you just go up there and spend the night?
Well, we played the first game, came home, went to school, practiced, and loaded up, and got ourselves in a hotel. That way, that next day, we didn't have to make that long trip, and you know, it cost us a little bit of money, but I think it was money well spent. We won. So
now, when you get into state and you take the final 8 teams, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it a blind draw for seeds? Like, don't you start to see who you play? Are you a fan of that, or would you rather just say, okay, here are my 8 teams, and we're just going to rank them based on how they finish the year and on record, and just seed them that way? Or do you like the blind draw?
There's been a lot of debate over that. I don't know how, let's be honest, I don't know how we could seed. You know, NCAA, that's different. You've got, I mean, you got a team in Memphis that's 29-3. You got a team in East Tennessee it's 29-4. I mean, how you going to seed? I mean, I know we have a poll, but it's voted on by the Associated Press, and there's many times teams are in that top 10 that don't belong in there because people are voting regional where they're at.
Yeah. So you're okay with the blind draw?
Yes, I think it's the only way to go.
Well, that's the teams that they see play.
Yeah.
They said, Memphis Mitchell should be in the top 10 because they've beaten everyone in Memphis. Whereas you bring them here, you know, any of the teams.
Certainly.
It just depends.
We have a lot more access now with, I guess I'm giving free publicity, like Coach T. Have y'all been on there? You know, I mean, can you imagine 20 years ago trying to keep up? The only thing you know, until the last few years, I mean, I ran to get that newspaper every morning, you know, or take it to school with me and on my planning period. Look and see what the other teams did around the state. But now, you know, we can find out before we go to bed what they're doing in Memphis. But to seed it, they do have some stipulations like, let's say you went to that sub-state, and let's say there could be 2 teams out of the same region go. You know, one at home and one goes on the road. They make sure you're on opposite sides of the bracket.
Okay.
So they do have a few make sure you're not going to run in. The only way you could see your region opponent again would be in the state finals. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's pretty complicated. It's obviously what I do for a living, so I know it like the back of my hand. So.
Well, it's nice to have somebody on here that actually knows the process rather than, because it can get a little confusing.
Or just knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Playoffs. I knew it's going to happen. Are almost confusing in any sport nowadays, right?
Yeah.
College basketball, like we were saying, if they had to actually seed it, there would be all sorts of controversy, and finger pointing and this and that. And NCAA tournament, I mean, there's so much controversy that it used to be 64, now that's 68 teams.
Right.
Still controversy, right? Because 69, 70, 71, 72, they're mad because they didn't make the tournament. So no matter how you do it, people are going to have issues.
You go back to the purist. I mean, you said you're from Indiana. When I
purist.
lived there,
yes.
Thankfully that was still the pure, when everyone was in. Kentucky, I believe they are the last state to have.
Only one left. They had 16 regions. They called the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And for growing up, and I was lucky enough to play in a couple state tournaments. My junior year, I went to a high school with about 650 kids, and we made the state tournament for the first time in 25 years. Now the downside to this one class, imagine 16 regions across the state, and there's about, I'm gonna ballpark at 18, 19 teams in a region. So our region, if we did it like that, it'd be Bradley, Cleveland, Walker Valley, McMinn, Polk County, Copper Basin. You see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So there's teams that have never been to the state tournament and will never go to the state tournament.
Yeah.
So the downside to that, I've been on both sides of that. I played in two. It was a little bit of a Hoosier story. We hadn't been in 25 years. We played Clay County in the Final Four, and I remember walking out on the floor, and the PA announcer, I didn't think that much about it. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you are now part of a world record." The biggest crowd to ever see a high school basketball game, 23,300 and whatever people. I didn't think much about it. I'm a junior. We're going out. It's a 4-point game. But looking back on that, when you do go, a little bit of that Hoosier story. When you go like that, I mean, the whole town shut out.
Yeah.
The whole town. I mean, you were either bedridden or the lonely one policeman left in town, or you were at the state tournament. So, by the way, Indiana broke that record later with when they built the RCA Dome with Damon Bailey and that group. A few years.
Bedford North
a little
Lawrence,
bit.
When he played against Montrose. And,
a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a little younger than me, so a few years later, Indiana, they broke that.
Yeah.
Only because they had a arena that would hold more.
Right.
So.
Well, the only other state to me that has, I mean, not close, but I mean, the odd, it would be when I lived in California, because they actually don't have a state championship.
Right.
They have a
North and
state
South.
and
South,
state champion, and that's it. Like, at least get them two together to play each other to see who could win it all, but nope, they don't. So,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take another break on WTNB Sports, and when we come back, more with Coach Jason Reuter.
Hello, I'm Brent Winters at the Mattress and Furniture Expo, and I am a local owner. We specialize in mattresses and upholstery furniture, as well as we have a variety of bedroom groups. Anywhere from $400 to $1,000, you can get a mighty fine mattress that's going to give you great support. And so we like to talk about shoes and mattresses. If you're not on your feet wearing a good pair of shoes, you're probably on a sofa or on your mattress, so you want support.
I believe that whatever we're facing, whatever difficulties, whatever challenges, whatever obstacles, that this word speaks to that. If you simply just have this word and you read this word and you allow it to sink into your heart, God will speak to you.
Have you heard about the new WTNB deals around town? No? Well, then let me tell you all about it. Deals Around Town airs right here on WTNB Monday evenings at 7 p.m. I watch it because it features great local restaurants from right here in our area. And better yet, I can get 25, 50, even 75% off on these places when I just call in and buy a gift certificate. That's right, I just call in during the show and pick from dozens of deals. Rumor has it that WTNB Deals Around Town is growing and growing, so much so that they may be adding another night of savings. I've even heard that they will soon add even more places, and not just restaurants. We're talking kids fun, massages, who knows what will turn up. Remember, it's Monday evenings at 7 p.m. only on WTNB.
Hello, my name is Andy Figglestar with Ed Jacobson Associates. We are an employee benefit and insurance broker in business for the past 20 years. The new healthcare law, also known as Obamacare, has finally arrived. The new law is complex and choices are confusing. You have questions, we have the answers. It is our passion to find cost-effective solutions for every client. Let our knowledge, experience, and passion go to work for you. Contact us today and let us assist you through this process.
Say, isn't it time you visit Monterey's? Can't decide what to eat? How about some delicious Mexican food at Cleveland's oldest and most refined Mexican restaurant? Bam! That's what you'll say after every bite. Looking to take the family out for a special occasion, like hunger? You know where to go. Monterey's is ready to provide you with the delicious food you crave. Monterey's, because I said so.
Nestled comfortably at 2270 Candies Lane Northwest, Relics Antiques and Vintage Decor offers a very unique blend of furniture and accessories. Relics Antiques and Vintage Decor is always buying and selling quality antique and vintage items in the Cleveland area. We are always interested in reviewing the antiques that you want to sell. Come to our location today and sample the diverse exhibition of antiques at Relics Antiques and Vintage Decor.
Welcome back to WTNB Sports. Brian Russell, Chris Woods, Danny Bradley, and Coach Jason Reuter. Again, thank you very much for coming in and spending the last hour with us. And before we get you out here, we got just a few more questions for you. And Chris, you want to start us off?
Yeah, we'll just fire some quick hitters at you, Coach. See how you react under pressure.
Would this be the lightning round?
Well, this is what his team can look at and say, yeah, Coach can perform under pressure.
Yeah,
we believe in him, right?
We have to think quick on the court. Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to your team. Do you have a most improved player, somebody who's really surprised you throughout the year, who's really improved and that you can count on throughout the year? Or, just the Charlie Hessel of your team?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's hard to with such a young team. I think they all improved a tremendous amount. We didn't go without our adversities. E.K. Brown was our lone starter coming back as a freshman, and she started out the year with a stress fracture. So she missed our first 10 games. And then when she came back, we had to imagine being out, a stress fracture, wasn't even allowed to do a stationary bike. Right. Go to the Y and swim a little bit, but there's only one way to get in basketball shape. I mean, there's weightlifting and we do all that and we condition, but you got to play basketball. Mm-hmm. You can take a cross-country star and put him in a pickup game and he's holding his shorts in 20 minutes because it's cutting and pushing so she really got hamstrung early in the year, but she's worked her way back in. Her shots come around. She's our best foul shooter. On paper, stats-wise, Hallie Hughes has led us in scoring. This girl was our sixth man as a freshman, and she's averaging around 18 points a game. So, just from the offensive side of the game, this girl has been our biggest improvement. She went from 5-pointer last year to 18 points. Wow. Defensively, we got a girl named Julia Gaither that I think is probably our best all-around defensive player. She's kind of that unsung hero, 6-7 points, 4 or 5 boards. This may not sound like a tremendous amount. We reward our kids for taking charges, and you can coach 100 years and you'll never get everybody on your team to take charges. This is a trait you have to practice and learn, and some kids, Brooke Copeland was great at it, and I think college coaches noticed that. They're like, hey, you got a senior taking charges that we can't get juniors in college to do. But Julia Gaither's taken around 20 charges this year.
Wow.
That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's averaging almost one a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
considering where you end up on the other side of that jar,
Yeah.
that is pretty
That
good
is a
bet.
lot.
Yeah.
Who would be, if you had to give us somebody on the team, say team comedian, the person where you're walking into the gym that day, you've had a bad day, everything's gone wrong, and she's just going to say one thing that can just make you bust out laughing or just keep the team loose? Who would it be?
He may say himself.
Well, gosh.
Or do you even have one?
Hallie Hughes is a girl that is very serious and very competitive, but I've caught her when we're watching film or I'm drawing something on the board, turn around and I've said something and she's trying to bite her lip and not laugh, and sometimes I use a lot of analogies. It's not. I told these kids it's not their job to understand our culture. It's my job to understand their generation and their culture. They're not going to like my music. Your dad didn't like your music. Yours didn't either. But Hallie, I'll say something, some analogy, or, and Hallie Hughes will end up horse laughing and, have to fake like she's got to go to the restroom to get out of the locker room. I was talking about a girl the other night we were going to play, and I said, we're showing them film where we didn't help off of her in the previous game, and we guarded her, and I said, this girl could stop on the way home after the game at KFC and still couldn't buy a bucket. Of course, Hallie Hughes, she starts laughing, and I'm serious as a heart attack, but because we're guarding a girl that can't score, and we're letting their best player get to the rim, and they all got their different personalities, and I coached boys for 17 years, and I enjoy coaching girls just as much. Now, with winning comes happiness. I try to leave it on the court and not bring it home, and I think that's one reason mine and Rebecca's relationship, my advice to anybody who's going to coach their kid, don't do it just to make your kid the star. If your kid's not, matter of fact, if he or she is not a better than average player, I'd almost advise you not to do it, because it could become detrimental to your, you love them more than anybody on the team. But if you're like me, I was probably harder on my own kid than anybody else. But I had many, many talks with Rebecca about that, why I had to be harder on her. You're the coach's daughter. Matter of fact, the team would rally around her sometimes, and try to, pick her up when Coach Reuter would chap her out for not playing defense or not boxing out. But when we left that floor, we left it. You might think we sat around talking about it at the dinner table. Whether we won or lost, we won, by the way, at a pretty high clip. You know that. We didn't go home, and I didn't critique her. I left it on the floor. And these girls know when I'm on the floor, it's all about business. But when we get off the floor, I'll cut up with the best of them. And but we got to remember, this is a game, and it's my job. But these kids, I'm asking them to run through a wall for me. And when you ask a kid to do that, you got to show them some love too.
Sure.
And win or lose, we want to win. But I'm proud of this team. I don't want us to stop here. I told them today at practice, we had a short practice today. I said, don't let this be your Super Bowl. You won the district. You weren't supposed to. You won the regular season. You won it on the floor in the tournament. Don't let this be your Super Bowl. We got a chance to win this region again. I think Cumberland County would be a slight favorite because they got everybody back from last year who we had to beat in overtime. But this district tournament, the semifinals and the finals is at Ooltewah. And I don't know if you looked at the map. That's 12 miles from Bradley High School to Ooltewah High School.
Yeah.
So, and we've played in that gym now once regular season, twice in the tournament. So we've had 3 games in that gym. So,
Right.
But I got a great bunch of kids, and I'm blessed to have them, and I'm looking forward to this tournament.
I know we're about out of time, but I have one quick question about another player.
Yes.
Been able to watch her play a few times actually, just because of the proximity. You mentioned her earlier, Amelia.
Yes.
She's.
You're going to ask me how she compares to Rebecca.
Well, no, I will not do that. But I mean, as far as height, I mean, she's.
She's she's about 5'9.5", 7th grader. She loves it. You know, I found out this summer when she, they obviously don't put in the time at middle school that you would at the high school level, and they shouldn't. Neither do I put in the time that a Division I program would. But we practice a lot during the summer. Whatever the law allows, there's limitations, but we take it right up to the line. And she would say, "What time you got practice tomorrow, Dad?" I'd say, "Hey, I'm going 9 to 11." Well, at 8:45, this is a girl going into 7th grade. I know what I'd been doing. I'd been sleeping until somebody rolled me out of bed. She'd be at the door with her shoes over her shoulder, ready to go with me.
Yeah.
While I'm practicing girls, she's upstairs. We have another floor upstairs there at Bradley. I mean, if I go for 2 hours, she's up there shooting for 2 hours. So she really loves it. Now, there's all kind of factors. Is she going to keep growing? Is she going to, any girl that goes on and plays college basketball, I will say this, at some point, our guy, some point in their life, they got sold out to the game. It might have not been their entire life, you understand, but somewhere it's a burning passion where you eat, sleep, breathe it, and that flame may not stay that bright forever, but any girl or boy that has the ability to go on and gets to that next level, they had some point in their life, whether it was 3 or 4 years, 5 years, they really sold out to the game. So Amelia is, I think, sold out right now. So when she gets to Bradley and plays for her dad, that light may flicker a little bit. I don't know. But I've got a wife at home that keeps me in line. So.
Well, they did pretty well. Is it still the SeaTac? I don't remember this as far as the middle school, if they've changed the district and all, but they did pretty. They made it up close to the finals this year, didn't they?
Yes. It's not the SeaTac anymore. But
after mine got out of middle school,
now Amelia's in the 7th grade, so really they play for that. All the marbles, I guess you would call the 8th grade, the real varsity. Yeah. Right. So she's a 7th grader. So she's got another year of middle school, but she did well this year. Did well. Proud of her.
How much longer do you see yourself coaching? Obviously, you want to probably coach Amelia, but do you have a timetable in mind, or is it just until it's not fun anymore?
Well, you are independently wealthy, right?
No.
His wife is.
I mean,
Melissa.
Listen, guys, I'm a school teacher. Walmart cut out layaway, man. That was a sad day for me, but I don't know. I don't have a timetable. This is my 22nd year. You have to go 30 years to draw your full vested retirement. So I told my principal the other day, "Hey, you got a 5-year commitment out of me. I want to stay here until, if I thought it was detrimental coaching my own daughter, I'm not talking about having a bad day. I'm talking about after praying about it, trusting in friends, family. If I thought it was detrimental, I'd step away immediately. But I don't see that happening. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be smarter this time around than I was the first time. We all learn from it.
Right, sure.
Anybody says I wouldn't change a thing, they're probably being not totally truthful with you. And we can all look back and say we changed things. But, I enjoy it just as much as I ever had. And, I'm going to have another round with another daughter. But anybody spreads a rumor that Coach Reuter's getting out, you can hear it live here on this interview that I'm in it for at least 5 more years.
That means we have 5 more years of interviews to do it.
Certainly.
We need that commitment on the air too. Right,
I will come. Hey, you guys, we've tried to get together before. We've been iced out.
Yeah,
we've been snowed out.
This interview was supposed to take place a long time ago last year and never did, but who knows, after tonight he may decide, I want to talk to these idiots anymore.
He's obligated now.
Yeah, we've got it on record. Well, Coach Reuter, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. We know you don't get a lot of free time, and especially free nights, so thank you for coming in and joining us. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate what you guys do for high school sports, and we're lucky to live in a town where I think sports and education go hand in hand, and there's so many communities wouldn't have an opportunity to even have a show like this. I mean, just think about surrounding areas. So we're very blessed. I mean, and thank you guys. It's my honor. I'll come whenever invited if I can.
Well, we appreciate it. So that's it for us. Stick with us. Tune in next week, WTNB Sports. I think we're going to have Coach Damon Floyd in. So for Chris, Danny, Brian, and Coach Reuter, thank you and good night.